Good evening, folks, and welcome to week 2 of Newfoundland Beer Month, February 2020. The beer I have this week is Red Sky Red Rye, English style red ale. I'll give my glass a quick cold water rinse. Just let that drain. I'll just read the can. Split Rock Brewing Company, Red Sky Red Rye, English style red ale, 4.8% alcohol. Crafted in Twillingate, Newfoundland. It says featuring fruity esters, toffee aroma, and a spicy rye character that one might call a sailor's delight. I really like the can, so I'm going to zoom in just so you can see the can again. Growing up as a teenager, one of my favorite bands was U2, and one of my favorite albums was Under Blood Red Sky. And for this can kind of reminds me of that, just beautiful scenery. And being an ex-sailor, ex-Navy. Red sky at night, sailor's delight. Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. So this, I really like the style of the can. Which means little if, depending on how the beer tastes. So hopefully it's a good tasting beer. We'll pour it up, we'll talk a little bit about it. And I'll give my rating as per usual. So we expect it to be well, I know it's an ale. It's a red ale, so you're going to get red tinge to it, obviously. A little bit darker than I expected. I was expecting, to me that almost seems like a brown rather than red, but they call it a red ale. No real strong aroma. Getting a little bit of something, I can't quite put my finger on it. Interesting. As I said, it's an English style red ale, 4.8% alcohol. Split Rock Brewing Company out of Twillingate, Newfoundland. And I'll talk about Twillingate in a second. They've been around since 2017. And they say the story of the brewery is a story of serendipity. It's all about the chances. And what it is, there's a man, I think his name was Robin something, from Twillingate. In his younger days, he was in a band, and one of his fellow band members had a son who used to hang out with the band, so he got to know the son. Fast forward 10, 20 years, whatever, this gentleman, Robin, he bought an old building in Twillingate. He was a businessman. He bought this building, didn't know what he wanted to do with it, but he wanted to do something with the building. So, the young boy, who I mentioned, the band member's son, he's now actually grown older. His wife is in a prenatal class. And she's also in a class with the first gentleman's daughter-in-law, I think. Anyway, there was a connection there. And the young man who is now a man, his wife, she was also known to brew beer. So they got to talking, and they thought, oh my God, that building that's a perfect place for a brewery. So that's how the brewery came. So it's just a bunch of haphazard chances that kind of came together. The name of the brewery, I guess, Twillingate, is 2 islands, and they say the brewery was in a spot where the town was split in two. They call it Split Rock. And it's a classic style English ale, and they are known for English inspired ale, so I guess they do a couple of English ales, IPA. They also do a Belgian wheat beer, I believe. So my understanding is that they originally were doing a red ale, but they wanted to do something different with their ale. And they just happened to have a load of rye on hand, so they decided to do a rye red. Reds in general are known as full-bodied, hoppy, and kind of buttery, like a cream mouthfeel. It's definitely full-bodied. First mouth, for the first second when you take the taste, for me it reminds me a little bit of a stout. Only lasts for like a second, just an initial taste. And generally with reds, they say they're sweet, and often you'll get it like a butterscotch caramel flavor. And this one, they say fruity esters, toffee aroma, and spicy rye character. I'm not getting a lot of spice in it, but it's not a bad beer. A little dry, not a lot of aftertaste, a little bit, but nothing great. It's actually quite enjoyable. Now, my rating system, as always, out of 5. A 1 being a drain port, don't like it, can't finish it. A 2 being, I'm not a big fan, but I'll finish it. A 3 being a good beer. A 4 being a very good beer. And a 5 being the best beer ever. For this one, the Split Rock Brewing Company Red Sky Red Rye, English style red ale. My rating, I think I'm comfortable giving this one a 3.5. I'm tempted to give it a 4. I'm kind of still sitting on the fence. It's either going to be a 3.5 or a 4. I'm leaning towards 3.5. It's not a bad beer by any means. It's definitely enjoyable. I think I'm comfortable. I'm going to stick with a 3.5. With that being said, a strong 3.5. Pretty good beer. Definitely one that you want to give it a try for something different. So here, folks, that's my rating for the Red Sky Red Rye, 3.5. Hopefully you can join me next week. We have 2 beers left for Newfoundland Beer Month, and we have a Island Gold Ale from Storm Brewery. And we also have this monster, which is a blonde ale, which is basically beer. Here, folks, hopefully you can join me next week for the next episode, and chances are I'm going to try the Storm next week. Until next beer, as always, enjoy responsibly. Cheers.